Welcome to Keto Meals and Recipes.com. Today I'm really happy to show you how to make my very delicious and simple keto chicken cordon bleu. But in this video, rather than just showing you one method, I'm going to show you three methods. First, I'll show you how to make the classic method, then my simplified pocket method, and then lastly, I'll show you a super easy no egg wash method. Although many people just serve the chicken cordon bleu as is, I don't think this is a complete meal without a classic and absolutely amazing Dijon cream sauce, which I'll also show you how to make. And at the end, I will provide you a complete meal suggestion and also show you the macros for the complete meal. So I hope that you will watch this to the end to get that information. The macronutrient ratio for this chicken cordon bleu with the Dijon cream sauce is 2.4 to 1, with a total carbs of 28 grams, of which 9.8 grams is soluble fiber, 7.6 grams is insoluble fiber, resulting in 10.5 grams per generous serving. I would also like to explain right at this point that the 28 grams of total carbs, these carbs come from two ingredients, whole psyllium husk and oat fiber. Now let's get started. Preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius or 390 degrees Fahrenheit. Then take the chicken breast and trim off any fat, sinew, or that little extra flap of meat that is often part of the chicken breast. Set this flap of meat aside because when you get a few of them, you can make chicken fingers with them. As I've mentioned, there are three different ways to make this recipe. I'll start with the classic method. Let's prepare the stations first. Begin by cracking the egg into a bowl. Add the cream and then whisk until these two ingredients are well combined. And then set the bowl aside for a moment. I haven't demonstrated this, but I have a bowl of oat fiber set aside as well. And now I'm going to make the crumb coating mixture by placing the blanched almond flour, whole psyllium husk, and garlic powder, salt and pepper onto a flat plate, and then just stirring these to combine them really well. Now for the classic method, I take my chicken breast and butterfly cut through the thick part of the breast. When you're doing this, just be careful you don't go all the way through. You want a nice thick seam. Then place the butterfly cut chicken into a large freezer bag. With the meat mallet, gently pound to flatten the thick part of the meat. What you're trying to achieve is an even consistent thickness of the meat and fairly thin, but be careful not to make it too thin and especially not to make holes in the meat. Then take the meat out of the Ziploc baggie and pat dry the chicken breast. Now you have the pounded side and the smoother side. Sprinkle the smoother side with the oat fiber. If you don't have oat fiber, you could use coconut flour, but I prefer oat fiber because it tastes more closely to wheat flour. And what I'm trying to achieve with all of my recipe is an authentic taste, not just a look-alike copycat. Lay the flour side down and on the inside place 2 slices of the cooked ham and then layer 2 thin slices of Swiss cheese on top of the ham. Next, I fold over the ham and cheese and place it at one end. This will help to make the next step easier. Starting at one end, begin to roll the meat as if you were making a sushi roll. As you're rolling, make sure that you tuck the ends in as you roll. It's really important that you secure the meat with sturdy toothpicks, as I'm showing here, making sure that you have made a really good tight seal for the roll. You also want to make a tight seal so the cheese doesn't ooze out while it's baking. Now here are my 2 bowls that I set up earlier, the egg wash and the crumb coating. The next part's really simple. Just take your chicken bundle and roll it in the egg wash. Make sure that the egg wash completely coats the exterior of the bundle. Then immediately roll the bundle in the crumb mixture. And please make sure that there is an even crumb coating all over. When you've completely coated the chicken bundle, place it on a parchment-lined baking sheet. And that's the first method. Now for the second method, the pocket method, which by the way, I also use to make really simple barbecue chicken bundles. I'll provide a link in the description below, so please check out that recipe too. Like with the first method, the first thing you do is trim off any excess fat, sinew, and the little flap of meat. And then we're going to make a nice deep pocket. To make this pocket, the easiest way is to place your palm on the top of the breast and starting at the thick end, leaving an edge of about 1/2 centimeter or 1/4 inch from either end, cut through the thickest part as you're gently pressing your palm on top of the meat. This will prevent it from sliding around and you'll have a better feel for where your knife is. As with the butterfly method, make sure you don't cut all the way through. You want a nice deep pocket but a good seal. For the second part of this recipe, lay your 2 slices of cooked ham on your cutting board and then place your 2 thin slices of Swiss cheese on top of the ham and then gently roll it into a tight tube. Place this tube of ham and cheese, tucking it deep into the pocket you just created. Then using the outer edges, just overlap the meat. While you hold everything in place, use a sturdy toothpick to secure the opening by weaving it in and out of the meat. The next thing is to roll the bundle in the oat fiber. After you've done that, then this goes into the egg wash. Make sure you coat the entire bundle very carefully because it's the egg wash that helps the crumbs stick to it, which is the next step. After you've dipped your bundle in the egg wash, you dredge the chicken bundles in the crumb mixture. And that's all there is to the second method. Now put this chicken cordon bleu bundle next to your first one on the parchment lined baking sheet. And lastly, the third method, which does not use an egg wash as I mentioned. This is a real simple and easy cooking hack. I really like this hack, especially if I don't feel like doing all the steps. It still tastes really good. A bit different, but really good. For this method, you do all the steps you did for the pocket method, up to the point where you secure the bundle with the toothpicks. To begin, into a small bowl add your oil and mayonnaise and then stir until an even creamy mixture is formed. Using a pastry brush, cover the entire surface with the mayonnaise. Then immediately roll the bundle in the crumb mixture and then lay this bundle onto your parchment lined baking sheet. Here's an optional step. You don't have to do it, but I do. And at this point, I use a cooking spray and lightly spray the entire top and side surface of my bundles before placing them into the middle position of my preheated oven. I do the baking in 2 steps. First, I set the timer for 30 minutes. And after the 30 minutes, I remove the tray from the oven and using my pastry brush again, I use the oil and grease drippings on the parchment and brush it onto the surface of the bundles. I find that doing this step will crisp up the exterior and give it that fried look and taste. Then I put the whole tray back in the oven for another 10 to 15 minutes. Please note the total baking time is approximate based on the chicken breasts that I'm using here for this demonstration. Your actual baking time will depend on the thickness of the chicken breasts you're using, so please adjust your time accordingly. To be efficient, and while your chicken is baking, you can make the mustard cream sauce. Into a small deep pot, add the water, cream, unsalted butter, creamy Dijon mustard, and all of your grated Parmesan cheese. Since I like the sauce to be fairly thick, I add my glucomannan powder at this point as well. When the sauce starts to thicken, reduce the heat to low and cook over medium-low heat while stirring frequently as the liquid thickens. And add the oil of your choice to this cream mustard mixture. And cook it for 5 more minutes to allow the sauce to thicken. When your sauce is done, as I'm showing here, immediately remove it from the heat and set it aside in the pot. When the chicken cordon bleu is done, remove the tray from the oven and let everything cool for about 10 minutes before cutting into thick medallions. And this is how I arrange the medallions on a plate. To complete and make this into a meal, I serve a side salad. The ingredients for the salad I served in this video are as follows. I used 40 grams of chopped romaine lettuce, 100 grams of English cucumber cut into thick medallions and then each medallion was quartered, and 28 grams of halved cherry tomatoes. The dressing is 1 tablespoon of olive oil and 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar, which I just pour directly on top of the salad. The last thing I do to complete this meal is I ladle 3 tablespoons of the Dijon cream sauce over the medallions. And voila, this is a really tasty, beautiful looking, and easy to make meal. So here are the macros for the chicken cordon bleu with mustard cream sauce and the side salad as shown. I'm a really big proponent of making extra servings and freezing them whenever it's appropriate. So in this case, I made a few extra servings that I'm about to show you how I freeze. I always store my freezer meals in a glass airtight container, which I label and date. Thank you very much for visiting my channel. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch to the end. I really love hearing from you, so please leave a comment. As always, you will find the link for the printable recipe in the description below.